Namaskara to all of you. Hearty welcome to this conclusive session on Yaksha Prashna that we started 3 weeks back. A very, very important part of Mahabharata that we have seen so far in the form of a very interesting question and answer session between Yaksha on one side and Yudhishthira on the other. I hope all of you can hear me. Can one of you type yes in the comment section so that I will get to know I'm clearly audible? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajiv. Thank you so much. So let's get started. You know, as I was saying, the kind of questions that Yaksha has been asking and Yudhishthira has been responding says a lot about the kind of person Yudhishthira is. Even in that extremely challenging moment, never does Yudhishthira lose the path of dharma. He does not want to violate whatever Yaksha is saying as a precondition to drink water. He doesn't say, look, I'm going to be the future Chakravarti. So who is Yaksha or somebody whom we don't even know? So he does not have that arrogance. So you see that whatever are the great qualities that are mentioned in the Yaksha Prashna itself are being practiced by Yudhishthira then and there. So it is not something that he is speaking because of just intellectual answers, right? So a question can be answered purely by memory. Somebody knows, somebody asks a question, somebody, gives the answer. But was he following the spirit of that answer? So, for example, the person, let us say, someone says, "How does one stay healthy?" And the answer is follow a healthy diet. That's the intellectual answer somebody may be giving. But does that person who is giving the answer himself follow that? Is a question mark that we all will have to answer in our heads. So, what we see as a samvada between Yudhishthira and Yaksha is not just a merely an intellectual answer. It is coming from a very deep understanding and practice of dharma that Yudhishthira himself has done. Now, Yudhishthira is not a flawless personality. He is not like a Krishna or Bhima or Draupadi. However, Yudhishthira is still Dharmaraja. He is the incarnation of Yama himself. So he stands for that dharma in entirety. So whatever questions that are coming and whatever answers are giving, I would urge all of you to sit later on when you are thinking and pondering about these things and saying, okay, how can I, uh, imbibe some of these lessons? What is the real purpose behind giving this kind of an answer by Yudhishthira? So with this, it is with that attitude that we should be studying these things. So let us move into the questions straight away. We have a few questions to be covered, and since we have already covered the background to a lot of these questions, I will go move a little faster if that is fine with all of you. So, as I said, there are two types of questions that Yaksha is asking. One set of questions is more to do with how much Yudhishthira is able to speak and think on his feet. So that is the first level of question. The other type of question is something which is testing his understanding of scriptures. These are deep questions coming from very deep answers. So, and you just to stump Yudhishthira, Yaksha is mixing up these questions. So every question, every set of questions is a mix of questions which tests how much Yudhishthira knows as general knowledge and how much does he know as knowledge of the scriptures. So let us go to the next set of questions that Yaksha is putting. He says, what seems to have engulfed this whole world? This world is covered with something. What is that? He says, what is it that cannot light up in this world? Something that can make things bright. What develops a distance between a person and his friend, and what ensures that we do not attain the heavens? That means, which are those acts which do not give us the result, a positive result in our life. So these four questions, I think we had seen a bit of it in the last session. And the answer is like this. Yudhishthira says that the ignorance has engulfed this world. So, andhena niyamaha yathandaha is a line from the Upanishad. It says the world is moving in such a manner that it seems that the blind are following the blind. And this is very relevant in today's world, because whatever we say, look at them, they are doing something like this. You suggest something, why don't you get up in the morning and exercise? You look at and see nobody is exercising. Nobody is studying, nobody is doing practicing the rituals, nobody is reciting the stotra. Is not a good enough reason why we should not be doing it. After all, if we want to be different in our lives, we have to go by what will make us different, what will make us better, how will we stand out. It won't come because we are doing what others are doing, or it won't come because we are also not doing what is ordained by the dharma and others are not doing. So this agnana, or lack of knowledge or ignorance, seems to have covered this world. Why it has covered this world? Because this world is not looking like the way. We are not able to get an objective view on anything because we do not have the gnana. So this agnana seems to have engulfed not only one individual but the entire world. So what a big pandemic in that sense agnana is, and we see it in every field. The second one says, what cannot light up this world? Anything you think of might be able to generate some heat, some light. But one thing which can never ever, light up this world is darkness. So darkness can never light up this world. Again, darkness in the Shastric language means agnana. So this with agnana, you cannot get gnana. So you have to overcome agnana to become agnani. Similarly, you have to overcome this darkness to light up this world. He says, what distance is a friend from us? Why does a friend go away? Somebody who has been a good friend and suddenly started move. Why does that happen? It happens when that person becomes greedy. And finally, one who is materialistic cannot attain the heavens. These are, again, we have seen this in Kataka. These are at loggerheads, Prayas and Shreyas. Nachiketa has defined it. If those of you who have not attended those sessions can see the recording of that available in the same YouTube channel. So it is there. He says there are two types of people, and they are seeking two different goals. One is Shreyas, the other one is Prayas. What is Shreyas? Is long-term happiness. So they are willing to make a small sacrifice to be happy and to a greater extent over a period of time. Simple. A student studies. When he's studying, of course, he may be facing some challenges, but in the long term, he is able to attain happiness, because when he does well in his education, he is able to think about a higher education, he is able to think about getting a good job, and so on and so forth. So therefore, whenever we look at something like this, it is said in the Shastras that this one should always chase Shreyas and not Prayas. Prayas is gratification. That means instant gratification, as you would have heard this word. Like you're feeling hungry, you eat. You're seeing the sweet, you feel like eating, you eat it without thinking about what is the consequence it can have. But here again, Yaksha asked this question and pray. The Yudhishthira gives a beautiful answer that the moment one gets into materialistic pursuit, that person cannot attain anything spiritually, because these are at loggerheads. You cannot say white milk. White milk is there. Can we say black milk? There's no such thing like a black milk. There is nothing like a white tar. Tar that they put on the road is always black. So therefore, whenever we are thinking about something like this, these two are at loggerheads. Materialistic pursuits and something which is done in to gain some kind of a spiritual height. These cannot exist together. One can feed the other. That's a different matter. But this cannot be the case. So therefore, it is very, very important for us to understand that anybody who is wanting to achieve something in the spiritual path has to make some sacrifices in his materialistic life. Now, the idea is not that everybody leaves everything and goes to a forest and starts to meditate. That is not what the Shastras say. In fact, Shastras oppose it, because not everyone, if he has got worldly responsibilities that he has taken upon himself, then he has to fulfill that. Without fulfilling that, he cannot attain the higher level goals. So, this is one of the answers that Yudhishthira gives to Yaksha. Now, going to the next set of questions, he says, Yaksha asks, what is the real definition of what we call tapaha? Tapas. You would have all heard the word tapa. The moment you say tapa, what comes in our mind? One person is sitting and his eyes closed, and he has got his hands in the mudra, like Lord Krishna behind us. So we say, he's doing tapas. So what is the real meaning of tapas? What is the technical meaning of tapas? The second one is, what is the definition of dhamma? Shama dhamma. You would have heard about this very commonly. It's a unique quality. So, what defines dhamma? Then he asks, what is the definition of kshama, or pardoning people? The whole spirit of pardoning people who might have done something wrong is the crux of what is called kshama. And why should one be ashamed? What should one be ashamed of? And Yudhishthira says, tapas is practicing samasthiti and swadharma. Whatever one is ordained to do, very, 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 very important thing. Whatever one is ordained to do, if he does that, and doesn't give that up, doesn't give up his actions, and doesn't give up his responsibilities, that is called tapas. Look at how broad-minded our shastras are. So, if somebody has decided that he's going to be, let's say, doctor, if he's committed to his profession and says, I will try to do my best, then that itself works as tapas for him. Tapas does not mean forsaking your duties. No, that is not tapas. One has to do the duties that he has accepted. Now, this duty might be because of a profession, it could be because of a certain background that you come from. It is because also what is your familial status? Are you a husband? Are you a wife? Are you a child, father? All those responsibilities one has to perform. So therefore, even the person who goes to sannyasatva has to ensure that his duties that he has to perform are taken care of, and all the responsibilities are played before he accepts the sannyasa diksha. So therefore, if one does his work properly, that itself is called tapas. Tapas, we don't have to go to a forest to do this. All of us say, oh my God, I need a break. I will go to some forest and I will do tapas. No. For tapas, you need not go to the forest. If you're doing your duty here, right, then that itself is called tapas. Yes, you may go for a break, you may take a vacation, just like that, but that is not what is called tapas. Tapas is doing your ordained duty. That is, he says, is tapas. The second one is dhamma, is controlling one's mind and senses. Our shastras play a very, very, very important role if you of controlling one's senses, because all this will be totally useless if one is not able to control one's senses. Controlling one's senses and guiding the senses towards spirituality, towards God, is what is going to define how we will be, how one is able to achieve it, right? So dhamma is controlling one's senses. So this, if you read the Bhagavata, you read any shastra, this concept of controlling one's mind and senses is reiterated many times. So this is dhamma. Next, he says, what is kshama? Kshama is tolerating opposite points of view and accepting ups and downs. So what happens is, the moment things start, when someone is winning all the time, only positive things are happening, then that person will definitely have a positive frame of mind. But the moment something goes wrong, that is when you will see the true colors of that individual. He may say, "Oh, no, 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 I don't want to do this." Right? This is not what I want. Well, why isn't this not happening to me? And he gets into an aggression. He gets frustrated. Right? So it is only when your chips are down, when things are not going the way they want, that the true caliber of an individual is always tested. So therefore, if one is able to maintain that sense of equanimity irrespective of what is happening inside or outside, positive or negative, then that is considered to be something which is called kshama. The other one is other definition. As I said, Mahabharata has multiple meanings. Other meaning that one can get is kshama is nothing but pardon. So what does that person actually pardon? Is that somebody who has got an opposing sense of view is you do not fight back, but you say yes, that is that person's point of view. It's very important to have this quality, because if you're only appreciating things who and with people who are appreciating whatever you're doing, then over a period of time people will stop talking to you, because they'll say this person is not listening to me anyways, so why should I be thinking about this, right? So therefore, very important to understand that person's point of view, to understand what that person is saying. If that person is opposing, you say yes, it is your point of view, I don't agree with you, but we can disagree. We can disagree without being disagreeable. That's a difference between the two, right? So this is something that one sees is manifesting in the form of a dvandva. It's called dvandva sahishnute. The other one is who should be ashamed of. The people who are doing wrong things should be ashamed of what they were doing, right? So if you see, the demons, unfortunately, when they do something wrong in the Puranas, you will never see Duryodhana having any sense of shame. He never has a sense of shame. He never wants to give up. Whereas Pandavas, even when they make a small mistake, they are very hypersensitive about it. They want to make amends. Yudhishthira thinks so hard. Why did I play that game of dice? Why should I have done this? And he has sincere regrets. And he's so engulfed by the thought that remains with him for several years. Look at Arjuna, the famous Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. He's overcome by things. He says, "Oh, am I doing the right things?" Though he's doing the right things, he's always questioning yourself, right? He's always questioning oneself. But the people who are doing wrong things, the evil people, the dushtas, the danavas, never ever question themselves. They believe that whatever they are doing is the right thing to do. So therefore, that is also to be forsaken. So those people who are doing wrong things have to be ashamed of whatever they are doing. So next question. Yeah, I see a point. Sandeep Kamath says 11. Can you please repeat what is 11? I'm sorry, I didn't get the context. Sandeep, if you can just clarify what you meant. Is there something you wanted to say? Okay, anyway, we'll probably wait for your input. So next question, what is gnana and what is shama and what is daya and what is being straightforward? What does it mean? Yaksha puts these questions. To which Yudhishthira says, Gnana means learning the right things. Yathartha Gnana. Getting Yathartha Gnana is Vidya. If you don't have Yathartha Gnana, it's Avidya. Therefore, one should get knowledge, but one should get the right knowledge. Knowledge which is in consonance with the Vedas, the Upanishad, is called the right knowledge. The next thing he says is learning about the ultimate truth is what constitutes the body of gnana. So therefore, if any form of philosophy has to address what is that ultimate truth, this is again a very important point for us to realize. Philosophy cannot be something which is doing good. That is a part of practice. But philosophy, when you say the word philosophy, or Vedanta, it has to ask this question saying, what is the ultimate truth? What is the nature of Brahman? Including saying that the Brahman does not exist. That is fine. After debate, some people may come to some conclusion. But that is also philosophy. So, therefore, it has to be addressing what is the truth that I'm trying to find out in my life. What is happening? What is this world? Who am I? Who is God? What is the nature that of connections which exist between all these things? So this is the important part that we have to remember about the topic of Gnana. What is Kshama? Kshama is removal of Shama, Shama Dama. So there are two types. As I said, Shama, Dama is controlling one's senses. Shama is removal of anxiety. How, what a beautiful, mindset they're giving us. They are saying, Shastras clearly are telling us that if you have Shama, where you are removing all the anxieties, how will you do that? It will come only when you are removing your senses away from this world. When you are having control over your senses, at that time you will have Shama and you will be able to do because of the Dhamma that you have. Only way to overcome anxiety is to have control over your senses. Anxiety happens when your senses start to go everywhere and misguide you in the direction that you shouldn't be going to. So therefore, controlling one's senses is very important. The moment you start doing something wrong because your senses are pushing you in that direction and you are unable to control it, it will result in anxiety. So therefore, we have to ensure that we try and get as much as possible towards practicing shama and dama. Then daya is the desire that everybody should be happy. Sarva sukhaikas katvam. Sarva sukhaishatvam. That means I am sarva. That means everybody sukha isha. That means I am trying to always aspire that everyone should be happy. It is not enough if I am happy. Only my people are happy. My country is happy. My community is happy. My class is happy. Whatever. It is the thing that everybody around us should be happy. That is what is the true sense and the ultimate meaning of the word called daya, and not discriminating against anyone because you want the goodness for everybody. You want that you're not discriminating against anybody. So we say this sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu because we want everybody to be happy. That is called daya. Next question, set of questions by Yaksha. He says, who is the most difficult enemy to defeat? Which is the disease which is incurable? Who is the good person? Whom will you call a good person? And who is the evil person? Yudhishthira gives the answer without blinking. He says, anger is the most difficult enemy to defeat. Why? Because everything, all our other vices seem to have some reason. There is some driver for that. Anger, no driver. It just happens. People get angry. Many times we say, I shouldn't have got angry like that. 95% of the time, our anger is not even justified even in our mind. And when do we regret? Next second. Next second you regret it. So therefore, that why? Because if anger was so easy to conquer, everybody would have conquered. But here, clearly, Yudhishthira is saying that is the most difficult to conquer. It can come at an incidence and it can go at an instance and leaving you with a lot of regret about what you did or what, especially what you said. Greed is the curable disease, is the incurable disease. There is no cure for greed. A man's greed can never be satisfied. Man's needs can be satisfied, not greed. Because there is no limit to how much a person should want. The more he has, the more he wants. Next one, who is called a good person or sadhu? In normal language, when we say, we think sadhu is a person who is somebody who has got a long beard, he's got a big long hair, and he's tied it up in a knot on his head. He has got a lot of he's sitting and praying somewhere. That person is sadhu. But The real technical meaning of sadhu is a righteous person. A good person is called sadhu in Sanskrit. So one who wants good for everyone is actually is a good person. We have seen this definition sometime back in a different question, but again he says the he is sadhu who he wants good for everyone, and one who practices cruelty is evil person. That person is called asadhu, a person who always is practicing acts of cruelty, like torturing people, scolding people, speaking ill of people. All these forms are the part of cruelty. Cruelty does not mean that you're torturing something at all. It's a higher level of, even small acts can be are acts of cruelty. So Shastras are very sensitive on these aspects. You should never wish anybody ill, even that's an act of cruelty. Because when you are wishing ill for someone, you're sending negative energy towards that person. You are wishing in your mind that that person is harmed. That itself is equivalent to harming that person. You might say, how I wish this person goes and one big tree falls on him. By saying this itself, we get the sins equivalent to actually cutting a tree and putting it on that person. That is why Shastra rules are very, very sensitive, because they do not want us to go in that direction. Why, you may say, oh, how is that possible? That person, after all, did not do it. It only thought in his mind. The Shastras are very careful, saying today's thoughts are tomorrow's actions. If a thought has come to you, it will manifest in an action sometime or the other. So therefore, you have to be very careful about how you look at something like this. So that is cruelty is called asadhu. Next set of questions. Who is a pandita? Who is an atheist? Who is a fool? And who is the person who is jealous? So Yudhishthira gives a lovely answer to this. He says one who has discretion of what is dharma and adharma is called pandita. Just by mere knowledge, it is not, a person doesn't become a pandit. A person should know um, when that is it is going to happen. So one who has the discretion of dharma and adharma only is called pandita. So after learning all this, if that person is not able to judge and say, hey, this is dharma, this is adharma, then he is not considered a pandit. He may know a lot of things, but it has to lead to a certain level of judgment. It is like this: a doctor, he might have studied a lot of things, but when he sees a report or when he sees a patient, he should be able to say, hey, you know what, this person seems to have this kind of a disease, and I should be treating it like this. So that sense of judgment is very, very important if that person is considered and has to put his learnings to use. The next answer: an atheist is a fool. And the next question was, who is a fool? He says, fool is an atheist. So he just goes, puts it in a loop. So we may sometimes say, you see, just because somebody does not believe in God, how can we call him fool? So the answer to this is fairly simple. We say, we ask anybody, why don't you believe in God? They say, I can't see God. So because that individual cannot see God does not mean God does not exist. There are so many things, countless, infinite things that we cannot see. Why? Because they're too big or they're too small. In both the cases, we cannot see. If they're too far, we cannot see. Can we see America from here? We cannot see. I'm sitting in India. Can I see America? I cannot see. I can only assume that it is there. Maybe from a satellite picture, they show America. They say, okay, America is there. Or somebody whom I know has gone to America. They tell that, okay, there is America, so I will believe it. So why do we say this? Therefore, just because I am not able to see things which are beyond me doesn't mean that they don't exist. Nasti means that. Astikata, nastikata. We say, oh, those people are nastika. What? Why do they say nasti? That means na asti. That means it doesn't exist. What does not exist? Something which is beyond the line of sight does not exist. This is a hopeless way to decide on the existence of something. So therefore, anybody who says I'm an atheist because I can't see it is a fool. And who is a fool? He is an atheist. Because only people who are foolish will think about the concept of atheism. Everybody else, they may their degree to which they understand God, degree to the which they accept the presence of God may be different. That is granted. But what is not correct is that simply because it is not there in your line of sight doesn't mean that it does not exist in the long run. Okay, then let us move to the next question. So, who is the person? The question I think has got fixed up a little bit. My apologies. There's a question which he says, "Who is the person who will go to a hell almost on a permanent basis? What should a person do because of which he will go to hell permanently? There's no way he's going to come back. What is that?" Yaksha asks. Yudhishthira says, "Somebody who has got the capability to give dana to a needy person, yet he does not give it. Has to be someone who has to be punished. So therefore, he is sent to Yamaloka." So this is what Yudhishthira says, and it's not an empty answer. This incident actually happens in Mahabharata. So I'll tell you a small story. After the war, the Pandavas are ruling the kingdom, and Bhimasena is the finance minister. Right? So he controls the treasury. Yamadharmaraya or Yudhishthira is the king. So one day, Brahmin comes to Yudhishthira's house and he says, "Look, tomorrow I have to perform my son's, the sacred thread ceremony, Upanayanam. Very, very important ritual. But unfortunately, I don't have any money. Can you please help me?" So Yudhishthira says, "Look, it's already night. The treasury must be closed. So can you come tomorrow? I will give you the money that you want. So you please come tomorrow." He sends him away. That person desperately needs money. So he goes to Bhimasena's house. And he tells Bhimasena that, "Look, this is the situation, I need money." Bhimasena says, "Look, it is very late. Yudhishthira is the king. Without his permission, I can't give. I may be controlling the treasury, but even the finance minister has to take approval from the prime minister. So that being the case, I don't think I will want to give it. I will, but you have come to me, so I will do something and give you money." So he takes out that kada, the bangle that he's wearing, and gives it to him and says, "Look, this is mine. This is my personal kada or the bangle. So I'm giving it to you. I need not take Yudhishthira's permission. So I hope this is sufficient for you." That Brahmin is overwhelmed because imagine a kada or a bangle which Bhimasena is wearing. It must be so big. He has got enough and more gold, enough and more money to do this. He is overwhelmed and he says, "Thank you so much," and he goes away. Bhima, that's why we call Bhimasena as a guru. But even Madhvacharya's three is avatars, that of Madhvacharya, before that as Bhima, and before that as Hanuman. So Bhima is the guru. He is an incarnation of Lord Vayu. So he has to teach a lesson. So immediately everybody, then the end of the night, it is all dark, everybody sleeping. Suddenly they hear the banging of the drums. Somebody is, playing the drums in the middle of the night. Now, these drums are always played when somebody has won something. Like the kingdom has won a battle. Then these drums are played. So everybody is curious in the middle of the night. What have we won? So immediately Yudhishthira is also very curious. So he comes out and sees that person who is banging the drum is none other than Bhimasena himself. So he asks Bhimasena, "Why are you banging these drums? What have we won?" So Bhimasena says, "No, we have not won anything. You seem to have won something." So Yudhishthira is flummoxed. He says, "What have I won?" "I think you have won over death." Yudhishthira says, "Won over death? Where?" Then he tells the real reason. He says, "Look, you sent back that Brahmin and said that you come tomorrow, I will give you the dana. So somewhere there you are assuming that you will be alive till tomorrow morning, right? You will be alive till tomorrow morning. If you are not, where is the guarantee that you will live? So when you get that opportunity to do something good, that's the main lesson. We have to do it then and there. Don't wait for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning you may not get the chance. You don't know how you're going to wake up. You don't know what is the situation in which you're going to wake up. Today is in our hands. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರ್ ಹರಿದಾಸ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಸೇಸ್ ಇಂದಿನ ದಿನವೇ ಶುಭ ದಿನವು, ಇಂದಿನ ವಾರ ಶುಭವಾರ, ಇಂದಿನ ತಾರೆ ಶುಭ ತಾರೆ. Today is the most auspicious day. Don't wait for tomorrow. If you want to do something good, do it today. If you want to do Shastra Dhyana, do it today. You want to do Dana, do it today. You want to do Puja, you do it today. You want to do Stotra, you do it today. You want to just be good to somebody, do it today. You may not get a chance. You may not get a chance to do something, especially for people who are elder to us. They may not be there. They may not be living for us to do something. So if you want to do something for your parents or grandparents or anybody who's elderly, especially, you should not wait tomorrow. Because tomorrow we don't know whether they'll be around. Someday they will not be around. That time there's no point in sitting and regretting that, oh, I wanted to do this, but I could not do it. So make up that mind to resolve and say, yes, I'm going to do this today. And I'm going to do it with the grace of God. So that is what Yudhishthira is saying. And he says that a person should never postpone the act of donating. Next, he says, how do you define a Brahmin? How do you call a Brahmana? What is the real definition? Is it by birth? Is it by conduct? Or is it by studies of the Vedas, of the Veda Dhyana? Or is it listening to the scriptures? Whom will you call as a Brahmin? So immediately the answer comes. A Brahmin is not defined by birth alone. It is also not one who listens to the Shastras. It is that combination of a conduct of a person. If a person has kindness, if a person aspires for goodness for everyone, not just himself, has Indriya Nigraha. I'm deliberately using a technical word. I had told in the beginning of the session that we will be introducing some words, technical words, so that you all understand. And for future sessions, we can use that. Indriya Nigraha, control over one's senses. And lastly, very importantly, is Gnana Pipase. Gnana Pipase means literally the thirst for knowledge. One should have that eternal thirst for knowledge. What we seem to be doing is other way around. We are very, very satisfied with Gnana. Oh, I've read one book. Oh, that's good enough. Oh, I listened to some lecture for 20 minutes. That's good enough. Next, this year I will not have time. I'll do something. I'm satisfied. Very satisfied with the knowledge we have. Even in your professional life. If I do this one course, then maybe I'll get a better job and it'll give me some 6% increase in salary. If my company is forcing me to do this training program, I'm going to do it. That is not Dana Pipasya. Then you're always settling for the minimum that God can give you. That is not the right way. So therefore, what is Gnana Pipase? That continuous thirst of knowledge. So we are very satisfied with knowledge, but we are very, very thirsty for all the materialistic things. I don't want to study, but I want to have lot of material wealth. I don't want to perform the puja, but I want to get lot of other, it could be some kind of riches, some kind of comfort, luxury. I want that. So it should be other way around. For Gnana, you should have that thirst. And alam buddhi, that means you are limiting how much you need the others, because that has got a very limited purpose. Why should we think of so much about things which are not permanent, which are not going to be with us? We don't have to be thinking so much. This morning I came in a train from Hyderabad to this place. When I was seated in that seat, yes, I wanted that seat to be very comfortable. But one thing, at some stage, in my destination comes, I have to get down from the train and leave it for someone else. It's not mine. That is allocated only for that period of time. It's very temporary. So therefore, in our lives, Whenever we want to do something like this, we have to ensure that we are staying away from this unnecessary and overtly attachment to the world around us. Like the way we tell the child, look, that's not going to be there forever. Don't go home and cry. This is a toy shop. You're just looking at the toys. You're not buying anything. We should play here, but when we go home, don't cry for this, because that is over. It is, the toy belongs to somebody else or it belongs to the shop. Till there, you were there, you can play. But after you come, like the way we tell them, we also have to be telling ourselves that the world around us is very temporary. There's no point in aspiring for any kind of permanence in a temporary world, by definition, right? So that person, he says, is the Brahmin. The next set of questions: what is moha? What is the meaning of mana? Then what really constitutes laziness, and what is dukkha or sorrow or shoka? So what is it? So he says lack of dharma gnana is moha. A person who does not have the understanding of our scriptures is bound to have attachments towards a lot of things. They say that about Dhruva Raja. All of us have heard the story of Dhruva, at least to a basic extent. All of us have heard that his father chides him. He goes to the forest, prays to Lord Vishnu, sees Lord Vishnu, and then he becomes the Chakravarti. So we also probably are aware that Dhruva was allocated as very special palace in a place called Dhruvaloka. That Loka itself was named after him because it was very special. So when people traverse to the heaven, they will see Dhruvaloka at a distance. They will be shown that, look, that is where Dhruva stays. It is such a special place. The reason for that is that Dhruva is a role model for how tapas has to be done, how God has to be sought, how one has to set higher level goals, and so on and so forth. So when God appeared in front of him, he grants him 36,000 years when he will be the Chakravarti. Chakravarti is a post that does not exist in Kali Yuga. But at that time, there were rulers who ruled the entire earth. So he said, you will be the Chakravarti for 36,000 years. Imagine how people fight an election which will give them power, that to limited power, for 5 years. Imagine Dhruva had got that access for 36,000 years. So it's very curious. He became the king, the Chakravarti, and he ruled the world. Then, when that last date came for him to go, you know what he did? He just left everything. Woke up in the morning, said, "Last night was my last day as the Chakravarti. Now the time has come. Now I want to meditate on God." He drops everything. He does not even wear the slippers or the chappals that he was, footwear that he was wearing. He says, even that I don't want. I will go on barefoot. He changes his clothes to that of a sannyasi or something which is very, very light, very plain, very ordinary set of clothes. He leaves behind all the jewelry, all the wealth, and before anybody could even wake up, Dhruvaraja has already gone away. And they try to search everywhere. Finally, they search. Is there any way he could be under the bed? For some reason, is he hiding there? When they looked down, they find his pair of slippers, meaning that he has given up even that. How can one go out of slippers? That is something one person cannot forget. So he has not forgotten. Deliberately he has left it and he has gone. That was the level of detachment or vairagya that he had. So you can imagine, even when he was ruling with that mindset that this is a position which has been given to me by God. This is a task given to me by God. So I'm going to perform it. But the day this is over, I have to seek something higher. So that is the beautiful way in which he is able to express his sense of detachment. Then mana means ego. That means, what is the meaning of the word mana? It means nothing but ego. That is something that one should stay away from, because that is the quality which is going to come and bite us. Next one. Laziness. He asked, "What is laziness?" Is not acting on righteousness. That means not as per dharma. If somebody says, "Okay, see dharma, I know I'm supposed to do this and I'm not supposed to do something, but I'm doing it," that is laziness. I'm not able to do this. I have the strength, but today I'm feeling lazy. We all say that. See, tomorrow morning I will get up and do puja. Tomorrow morning I will do Shastra Dhyana. Tomorrow morning I will go and I will do the Sandhya Vandana. Tomorrow morning I will do yoga. Tomorrow morning I will do my diet plan. The diet plans always have to start from tomorrow. They never start from now. Why? Because we have that thing to postpone things which are difficult. So therefore, anything that is good is bound to give some challenges, and we try to push it out. So that is what is meaning by laziness. It is not laziness. It is not just a laziness. It is also a sign of procrastination. Constantly procrastinating. And he says, "Okay, tell me what is shoka? What is sorrow? How does one get sorrow?" The answer is simple. He says, "So have sorrow or dukkha comes because of agnana. If you have agnana, you're bound to face that sorrow. A person who is spiritual, who has that spiritual gnana, will never feel that. He comes and says, "Look, everything is under control of God. I have worked my heart. I have worked very hard. God has given me the strength to work. I have worked. But the outcome is going to be decided by someone else." So, where is the question of that person ever feeling diffident, ever feeling sorrow? There is no scope for sorrow. Whatever happens, that person takes it in a positive spirit. He's saying, "Okay, no, this is just the way the God wanted me to. Whether it is God goodness, it is bad, both these results I'm accepting." Why? Because they're coming from God. They're coming from God. When somebody comes and says, "Look, I went to Tirupati and they gave some flowers which are offered to God," does anybody look at those flowers and say, "Are these flowers good? Is it a jasmine flower or a lotus flower or some other flower?" Doesn't matter. It is coming from the same source. It is prasada. It's not a flower. So therefore, one accepts it. So even positives and negative results come to us as what God ordained. So yes, temporarily we may feel, "Oh my God, I should have done this," but immediately a dharmic person, which is what I think we should all try and aggregate from these set of questions. Otherwise, these are nice questions, great answers, witty. We've heard everything. We've gone home and we've slept, but it may not have the desired impact on us. So if we want to have all this to have desired impact on us, we should try and imbibe some of these things. So let us say we all decide, right? Saying next week I will not be unhappy. When will I start feeling unhappy? Because whatever I wanted, that will not happen the manner in which we wanted it. So I get unhappy. So I should do something which will ensure that I don't feel unhappy. Try your hard. Try your best. Put in the best hard work. Try it from all perspectives. But after it is done, you say, "Now it is in the hands of God." So whatever happens, it is something that God is wanting it that way. This does not mean that I do things which by definition are wrong. Now sitting and saying, "Oh, I will not." If God wants me to get this result, I will get it anyway. So why should I not do this? That's a wrong attitude, because we have to start moving on that direction, and then we have to act, and then the act leave the results to God. Look at what Krishna said. Karmanyam adhikaraste mahapaleshu kadachana. He said, "Do not aspire for lowly fruits." For a moment you assume that he doesn't want you to aspire for fruits, just for this discussion. Even then he said, "You have to perform your karma. That is not an option. You have to do it." Leaving the results to God is something which is going to decide what kind of a person you are. If you are the Shreyas who's always thinking about long term benefit, you will not ask for short term goals. If you, for example, let us say you go to a doctor and say, "Doctor, I'm getting a headache for the last 5 days." So doctor will say, "Okay, so what do you want?" So you will say, "Look, tomorrow morning I'm going for a presentation, so I don't want to have this headache." What will the doctor do? Doctor will pick up medicine and say you take this, you will not have medicine to, you will not have a headache tomorrow, right? If the headache persists, take one more tomorrow also, you should be fine. Now, this is not solving the problem. Instead, you tell the doctor, doctor, can you cure me of this headache? Right? Then the doctor probably will think, why is that person getting this headache? Is it because he has got some problem with his eyesight? Is it because he's very strained, he has not slept properly, he's getting a headache, or some food he has eaten, and so on and so forth? They will analyze and try to find the cause of that disease. So, therefore, this Shreyas and Prayas, probably two of the most important words that Upanishad has given us and which has continued in the Bhagavad Gita itself. So, this Agnana, therefore, is Shloka. So, next one is called what is that? What is the meaning of Sthairya? Right. So, what is called Sthairya? What is called Dhairya? What is the best bath one can take? And what is the best dana? Right. So, what is the meaning of Sthairya? So, what we say is Sthairya means sticking to one's dharma. We say, that person has got that Sthairya. That means not somebody who's adamant is not called Sthairya. There's a difference. Standing for what is right, standing for the path of dharma is called Sthairya. That means he stays in that place. That is called Sthairya. The next one, what is called Dhairya, which is controlling one's senses, is on in the Indriya Nigraha, is what is called Dhairya, because that is what gives you the courage. Then, what is the ultimate bath that one has? Right? So, what is the ultimate bath that one can take? It is nothing but cleaning one's mind is called is taking a bath. It is not just about cleaning the the body. That is why they say mantrasthana. And I think some people had asked for which is that mantrasthana. We had shared that mantrasthana also. Gangai cha Yamunai chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhim Kuru. So we say that what are we are inviting all these, we are invoking the presence of all these great rivers and the tirthabhimani devatas, that means the presiding gods over all these rivers, to come into the water of our well, or maybe our bore well, or the river, that the water which is coming to your house and ultimately coming to you on a shower or in a bucket. Why are we doing that? Because this water, the H2O water which is there, is only going to clean the exterior body. It is not going to clean your mind. It's not going to clear your mind. So, therefore, what do you have to do? You have to have another way of cleaning it, and that is what is called the mantra snana. That means you recite, the snana will take care of the external bath, but there is an internal bath that we have to take. We always say, how do I overcome negative thoughts? So people are thinking a lot. Yes, we have already discussed many techniques that we can use to sort of cleanse one's mind. But the other way to do that is to ensure that you are letting go of all the bad qualities by bringing in good thoughts. So let me give you an example. There's a bad smell, right? We first of all we have to find out what is the source of that bad smell. Some spoiled thing which has got spoiled is lying. Obviously, it will have that bad smell. So you have to throw it, but still the smell is around for a long time. So you have to bring in the good smell. If you light a incense stick or agarbatti, immediately you will get the great, very very pleasant smell. So therefore, to be able to do that, you cleanse your mind using a spiritual process. That spiritual process is actually called the snana. And what is dana? It is protecting all the living beings is called dana. That is also a form of dana, right? So doing the right things. So you see the word dana is repeating several times. Next set of questions. What is ego? That is ahankara. What is dambha? That means a sense of show off or pride. That's what. What is that? What is the best form of God or destiny? Daiva. and what is the conduct, what kind of conduct befits an animal. That means if you do this, you should be called an animal. So the first one is gnana leads to ego. Gnana which leads to ego is ahankara. So the biggest challenge with getting knowledge is that person starts to believe that he knows everything and nobody knows anything else is a perfect recipe for to get that ego. So gnana when we are getting, we have to keep this check, that look, it should I have to keep a check whether it is going in the right direction or not. It's very simple, right? Whenever you have to go, you put a GPS because you want to keep it on track, because you will say, oh, I don't have a problem, it's a highway, I'm driving at 140 kilometers, but are you in the right path? Or because you were driving so fast, you went on in the wrong direction at 140 kilometers per hour, that is also equally counterproductive, right? So it has to be very important. In F1 race, it is not just the accelerator which matters, it is the steering and it is the brake which also matters, right? Which will has to take us in the right direction. So therefore, one has to ensure that while one is getting that gnana, that ego does not come and starts getting formed, because that is unlike a useful byproduct, that's a useless byproduct, and it becomes a big deterrent for that person to learn more. Because if a person believes he knows anything, everything, why will he bother to learn more? He'll say, no, this is enough, good enough. That should not be the way we should be looking at these Shastras. So, Nana that leads to ego is called Ahankara. Then he says, Dharma, which is not true Dharma, is called Dambha. That means people who are showing off something like Dharma. It appears like the whatever they are doing is something which is uh, which is Dharma, but they act as though they are practicing this. So that is called Dambha as such. Next, he says Dana, which yields the highest, is the one which yields the highest form of fruits, is nothing but that form of destiny. So, what is that form? Any kind of destiny which makes us give this Dana and which gives the highest fruits, highest amount of fruits, is something which is the best form of God. One can realize God by through Dana. Next, what is the conduct which is befitting an animal? If you see that, you should call that person an animal. Normally, in the Shastra world, they say person who does not have knowledge is called animal. Vidya vihinascha pakshuhu. That means somebody who does not have knowledge is equivalent to an animal. What is the differentiating factor between a human being and an animal is gnana. So anyway, that's a big science by itself. But this much we all know. Somebody does not have knowledge; it is equivalent to being like an animal. But here it is slightly nuanced. Here, what they are saying is anybody who criticizes other is the conduct of an animal. You should never, though animal itself may not be something which criticizes. Why we say something is a prashuvritti is that it is something to be looked down upon. So let's not take it literally as what an animal would do, but something which is equivalent to that, right? So this is what he says is the context of a conduct of an animal, which is nothing but criticizing others. Who is the one who is always happy? What is the biggest surprise of all? And what is the best path for us to follow? And what is the best news one can hear? I think when I was preparing for this session about 3 months back, this set of questions and answers really interested me personally. So who is the one who is always happy? Which is the biggest surprise that we have heard? And what is the best form for us to follow? And lastly, which is the best news one can hear? So let us look at the answers. The one who is happy is always contented, right? Someone who is always debt free and is never traveling, unnecessarily traveling, that person is always happy. A person who is contented. So literally, the example that that Yudhishthira gives is that in one corner of his house, he's just cooking what he needs and does not bother about anything. He says, I've got everything. I have got all these things that I need. And let me not aspire for all these extra things which don't need at all. Because the moment I start aspiring for that, I have to forsake what I like to do. Right? So if you observe the conduct of great people, they always are willing to sacrifice a lot of things to achieve that one thing which is important. So a person who is always contented, it doesn't mean he's contented with everything. He's contented with the limited amount of materialistic things he has. Spiritual, my God, he is very thirsty. He is very hungry. He wants more. He wants more. He wants more. Who is the greatest bhakta that we know? The moment you think about bhakti, whose picture comes to in front of our eyes? Hanuman. He's always folding his hand. What does he say to Lord Rama when Rama asks him, what do you want? He says, I don't want anything. But if you are telling me that I should ask for something, he says, Pravardhatam bhaktir alam kshane kshane. That means whatever is my devotion that I have, let it multiply every second. Every second, let it grow, let it multiply. That is what I want. So look at how aspirational he is, how ambitious he is about bhakti, but about everything else. When Rama asks him, "What do you want? Do you want me to give you? Because what you have done is fantastic service for me. So you can ask me anything and I will give it to you." So Hanuman says, "I don't want anything." He says, Rama says, you are a brahmachari. Why don't you get married? Shall I get you a very good looking girl? Or should I give you wealth? Should I give you a kingdom? What do you want? Hanuman is very clear. He says, I do not want anything. I just want your service. And my bhakti in you should increase many folds. So that person is contented who says, enough. Some stage we all have to learn how to say enough. Because if you are not saying that, there is really no end. There is no justification why somebody should have 10 crores in the bank, somebody should have 500 crores in the bank, there are 10,000 crores in the bank. There's no end to it. There's no logic. You can't ask a person, why are you wanting so much money? It is just his aspiration. He says, I feel very insecure, so I want more money. Therefore, he gives that example also of a person who is always traveling. Suppose that person is always traveling endlessly, needlessly, he will never be contented because he's never staying in one place to even think what is good for him. What does he want from life? Is he defining himself properly? No, because he's just getting distracted. He's always traveling, he's always distracted. So such a person can never be happy. Next, this is one of my favorite answers that Yudhishthira has given. You know what is the biggest surprise for all? He says the biggest surprise for all of us is, man sees that people are dying all around him. Every day he sees death of his relatives, of friends, of neighbors, of people on the road. Every time somebody goes, oh my God, somebody died. But he thinks he's never going to die. The concept of death he thinks is always for others. He never believes a day will come when I also have to die. So therefore, it is not to develop a fatalistic attitude in our life. Just that thinking that one day I will lie, one day I will go, makes us respect whatever we have around us. You say, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this. One day you have to leave everything. Instead, why don't we think what has God given us? I'm sure all of us will have many, many things that we can be thankful to God on which we have, which we say that others may not have got it, but we are lucky to got it. It's because of God. So a spiritual person will never use the word lucky. He will always use the word God. So even in the Sanskrit, we use the word adrushta. Adrushta means at the face of it, it looks like something which is not visible means luck. I don't know why it happened, it just happened. So that's called adrushta. But adrushta's technical meaning is someone you can never see with your eyes, which is God. So it's God's grace. Oh, so I got everything by God's grace. Other people may not have got it. So I'm thankful to him for that purpose. So this is what he will say. So therefore, this is the big answer that Yudhishthira says. He talks about the uncertainty of death, uncertainty of our life. It can come and go anyway. Third question. He says logic has limitations. Everyone has their own mental constructs. So, therefore, the question is what is the best path for us to follow? So, here he gives a slightly long winded answer. He says, suppose I want to learn everything through logic. It has everybody will have their own limitations. Everybody has their own logic. Why? Because our logic was created because of our mental construct, our my mental logic. So I believe like this. Okay, oh, if I look at a river can be so big and this much of water can flow. Somebody shows me a bigger river. I say no, I don't know what this is. I will not call it a river because river means only this. That's a limit of my logic. That's a limit of my understanding. So therefore, that does not work. Similarly, Vedas, they are profound texts, no doubt about it, but they have different meanings, and they can be sometimes they can be confusing to us as well. So while they are great, they can be limited. So how does one learn? He learns. How does one learn? Logic does not work. We have seen in Katakopanishad, Naisham Tarkena Pratimatina, that mantra. So that the challenge with God is that he cannot be understood through logic. He cannot be understood by seeing. He cannot be perceived by any other senses. So how do we go? And what is the path I should take? He says, Yudhishthira gives a beautiful advice. He says, let us take the path which was taken by great men because they have understood spirituality at a much higher level. Whenever you read a text of written by Sri Raghavendra Swami, you can see his spiritual height. So there is no way we can match that. So whenever we are in confusion, we have to go to the text written by him, by them, so that we get the right path. So when it is so difficult to find the way path, what do? We take the path which was taken by great people. So you're going in a forest, you don't know where to go. You're looking here, oh, I can go like this there. Oh no, some danger. Oh no, there is some water. What should I do? Then you see a path taken by someone. All the grass would have dried. There'll be no grass. It'll be like empty. There'll be one place that you can see, even in a forest where somebody has taken. He says, okay, people before me have taken me. Now, this again does not mean that you blindly follow someone. That's not the idea. Here in the spiritual world, you are taking the path of a guru whom you have already validated as guru. It is not a blind shot. It is somebody says, okay, if my guru is Raghavendra Swamiji, I will follow his path. He will show me. I will get to know. Later on, if some new idea comes to me, new knowledge comes to me, I can again evaluate it. It is not following blindly. It is evaluating the Guru. But once we have evaluated the Guru, if we follow him in this spiritual world, this is very important for us. That's why we say only the path that the Guru shows us is going to take us. Why do we say that? It is you can one can turn around and say Guru also can be wrong. Guru can be wrong, yes, no doubt about it. However, what happens in this is we have to test the Guru, saying, is he having the right knowledge? Is he able to tell us the right things? Whenever you look at any Shastra, for example, look at Madhva Shastra, it has been tested by so many people. It has been tested by Vedavyasa. It has been again proven by Madhvacharya, Jaitirtha, Vadirajaru. So many people have said the same thing consistently. Each one of them has evaluated it individually. They didn't say, oh my God, Madhvacharya must have written it. It must be very correct. They have not said that. Yes, they have a lot of respect for his work, but they have evaluated very, very clearly. Madhvacharya himself says, I've thought about all the Shastras. Um, Alodhya Sarva Shastrani Vichari cha Punah Punah. Thought again and again and again. And then I have come to the conclusion that Narayana is supreme. So it is after a lot of research that he has come. So once you have a guru like that, we follow that path. So therefore, whatever is the path that is taken by great people is something that we should definitely pursue. Next set of questions. So therefore, the follow the path of this. And then he comes to the last but one question. He says, what is the greatest news of our times? This is a classic case of what is breaking news. And this answer, I think, is very profound. He says, the greatest news that is there is everybody in this world is living in this world, in this mortal world, thinking that they are very happy. They think everything is going wrong. We all have that feeling. Everything is going wrong, right? Whatever I am getting, whatever I have got, making a lot of money. I've got this kind of luxury. I've got everything. There's nothing. Few things here and there. Otherwise, I'm fine. But little do we know that Kala, that means time or God, is actually frying us. He is cooking us. He is boiling us in this in times. That means our time is ticking. Our time is ticking. Our time is passing by. But we seem to be very oblivious. So this is the biggest news, that what is news after something that you don't know, it's coming in the future. That's what is called news. Similarly, you don't know what it is. You are going only by your past and your current experience, but this is what is coming your way. No matter how great you are, how strong you are, how wealthy you are, how knowledgeable you are, your time will come. And if you recognize that and say, look, my time is going to be limited, so tell me, what can I do to maximize my spiritual quotient? What can I do to help other people? What can I do to study the scriptures? What can I do to make God my best friend? So then the way they look at something like this will be very different from what it is. So this is the flow of Yaksha Prashna. Now, are we done? No, we are coming to the most important question. Finally, Yaksha asks Yudhishthira, and we'll close the session with this. And of course, I'll take some questions that you might have. He asked this question saying, Yudhishthira, you have answered all my questions perfectly. I'm very, very happy with the way you have responded. And also your attitude while answering was very, very correct. So I want you, right, to pick up or select one brother, all four brothers, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, have all fallen, motionless. They're there. Please select one person whom I can get them to be alive. So, because you answered, I'm very happy. I will grant one boon, which is you can pick up one person whom you would like me to bring back to life. So, can you guess? You can use the comment section whom he selected. He has a war to fight. So, who did he select for Yaksha to bring him back to life? Correct. Mr. Srinivas Rao, perfect answer. Nakula. Priya, yes. Bhima, yes. So you would have all thought it's Bhima and Sahadeva. So, yes, the answer Bhima, Priya madam, would have been the most intuitive answer. In fact, Yaksha says that. He says, why should, so the correct answer is, he says, Nakula. Please get Nakula back to life. So Yaksha is stumped. He says, why do you want Nakula to come alive? You have a war to fight. You should select Bhima. One Bhima is enough. Or you should have selected Arjuna. Arjuna is a world renowned archer. He has also got all these Divyastras. So he is going to win the war for you. By selecting Nakula, what will you get? So Yudhishthira gives, I'm sure you would have heard the answer. He says something which is so typical of Yudhishthira. He tells him that, look, our father Pandu had two wives. One is called, one is Kunti, the other one is Madri. So I am going to be alive going forward. I am Kunti's son, but I also would like that Nakula, who is the elder son of my stepmother, is also alive along with me. I want this because it's fair. If I had a look at his amount of fairness that he has, out of affection for his own brothers, he could have forsaken the stepbrothers. He doesn't do it. He says, no, for me, it is important that children of both the mothers, at least one of them, should survive. That is why I'm asking like this. Now, Yudhishthira, it's not the first time he's doing it. So one may think, how did he get these ideas? It is coming from his mother, Kunti. So when Pandu Raja dies in the forest, there was a practice those days in that era where the wife of someone who died also will pass away or jump on to the funeral pyre. So they will lie. They will also die in the process by suicide. It's a form of a suicide. It was a practice called Sahagamana in those days. So, between both Kunti and Madri are discussing that Pandu has died unfortunately. So, Kunti says, being the elder of the two wives, I will go do Sahangamana. You stay back and take care of the children. Both can't go because the children are available, are there. So, it's a rule that if the children are there, then the mother cannot do that. So, one of us will go, others will, I will go because I am elderly to you. Madri says, look, Kunti, I request you to stay. I will go. I will do Sahagamana. Why? Because I don't think I have the same level of dispassionate thinking, unselfish thinking that you have. You are very selfless. You've got a very broad mind. You will take care of all the five children like your own children. Never will it be known to the world that these children are not your children. They may know it, but not by Kunti's conduct. Because Kunti will treat everybody equally. In fact, Kunti does the reverse. Kunti does the reverse. Kunti is always worried about Nakula and Sahadeva. Almost suggesting at times that she doesn't care for her own children. Because she had that extra care that she had, saying that Madhuri has entrusted her children to me. What a great personality Kunti is in her life. So much to learn from her. It's impossible for us to think on these lines. But he gives this great lesson to her. And immediately, they agree, and then Madri, the Sahagamana, and these five children are taken care in like that manner. I think I'd shared this earlier also. After all this, the war is done. Everybody gets a portfolio. Just now we saw um, Bhima is the ruler of the treasury. Arjuna is the person defense minister. He's going to take for a war. And Nakula and Sahadeva, what roles did they get? Nakula was made the personal bodyguard of the king. Now, what is special about the personal bodyguard is the person who is the personal bodyguard will always have a naked sword in his hand. Because somebody attacks, he will not have time to take out the sword from the dagger. He has to keep it open like this and always be ready to protect. Now, what is the challenge? If there is any distrust between the king and the bodyguard can kill the king himself because there's nobody to protect him and the sword is naked. Even before anybody realizes, he can just chop off the king's head just to show that he trusts Nakula as much, though he is a stepbrother, he says he will be my bodyguard. Again, showing what a great height Nakula has reached, Yudhishthira has reached. Another incident which I mentioned, Kunti, when she's leaving for the forest, after the war is over, everything is over, she's saying, Now I need to go to Vanaprastha along with Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. She says, she looks at Yudhishthira and says, take care of my children, Nakula and Sahadeva. She doesn't say take care of Arjuna and Bhima. One thing she knows that these people can take care of themselves. They're very, very strong, greatest warriors of their times. So nobody can do anything. The whole Mahabharata war could not do anything to them. So they are safe. But it is also her way of saying that Nakula and Sahadeva are very, very dear to her. And therefore they should be dear to Yudhishthira also. I think this is the height to which Yudhishthira has been able to take it. And Yaksha is, does two things after this. He says, number one, Yudhishthira, I'm so happy with the way you have answered these questions and the way you have shown the path of dharma by selecting Nakula. I am very, very impressed by you. So therefore, I am granting that wish that not only Nakula but all the other three Pandavas also come alive. So immediately all of them come alive. And the second boon, the second thing I'm granting it to you, I'm going to reveal who I really am. So I told you I was a bird. Now I'm going to reveal my true form. And then the Yaksha reveals the true form, which is none other than Yama Dharmaraya himself. He says, I'm Yama, I'm the god of Dharma. So these questions which I have put are dharmic questions. And the person who answered is Yudhishthira is also an incarnation of Dharma or Yama. So therefore, two avatars of one, the Moola avatara, the other one is the avatara or the form of Yudhishthira, of Yamadharmaraya, who is born, are face to face asking and answering these questions. So if I know when we introduce this topic of Yaksha Prashna, it has become very, very popular. Hundreds of people are joining live as well as they're watching it later. And there was a lot of curiosity about what these questions are. I hope these questions continue to make you think and ponder. These are not questions that we can just absorb it. Just look at these questions, the answers over a period of time, and then you will be able to get to know what they truly mean. I've tried to explain with the best of my ability, but despite that, I think you should make an independent attempt to digest these answers in your mind. And suddenly you will realize that it is not just a set of question and answer, it is a dharmic text which will guide you on your priorities. For example, look at the prominence given to dana, look at the prominence given to jnana, look at the prominence given to control of your senses, and very importantly, the importance given to jnana and bhakti and vairagya. Vairagya is very, very emphasized in different ways. So please read these answers. Any of you is interested, please write to us. I will show you the email ID shortly. I'll be happy to share all the three presentations with you. So before we go to the questions, I'll quickly run through some of the details of our future workshops. So if you want to get connected with us, here is the QR code. You can scan this. You can join our WhatsApp group. You can also join our very active Instagram channel. So please do join on this, and please join this session or Instagram channel. YouTube channel, we have a YouTube channel. It is written over here, Madhvacharya for the youth. If you have any questions or you need any resources, please reach out to this email ID, Madhvacharya for youth at gmail.com. Right now, the next thing is, people have been asking where can they learn the Madhva Shastra detail with commentaries in Kannada. So our Guru Dr. Vyasankare Prabhanjanacharya has been conducting these classes over and over again. This is available. You can join the Vyasa Madhva community. Every day you will get a link for the video patha of this granthas, Sarvamula granthas. So he's covering it one by one, and you can attend that session, live session. It is also available as a recording, so you can keep pace with that. This is, of course, in Kannada. Other one, Dvadasha Stotra of Srimad Madhvacharya, one of his Sarvamula Granthas. 25 episodes are presented recently. There will be a repeat broadcast again, so you can watch that. It is a Dvadasha Stotra is a fairly encyclopedic coverage of the aspects of Madhva Shastra in the Stotra form. The next one, starting from the 9th of September, I will confirm the time shortly. Sri Venkateswara Bhakti channel is um doing a broadcast of the story of Nachiketa, the Katakopanishad itself. They are presenting it in this is in English. This is almost mantra by mantra. So that is what we would say. Then tomorrow, yes, we are super excited about the session. I hope all of you who are in Bangalore have enrolled it. If you have not done, this is your last chance because the session starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. We already have got oversubscribed. We have a capacity of about 80 people and already 80 that is there. That is there. Already we have got 80, but if anybody wants to come in, we will try and accommodate them there. So it is happening at the Purna Pragna Vidya Pitha, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are being joined and blessed by Shri Vishwaprasanna Tirtha Swamiji of Pejawar Mutt and Shri Vedavardhana Tirtha Swamiji of Shirur Mutt. Dr. Veeranarayana Pandurangi, who is the chair, who is the director of Purna Pragna Samshodhana Mandira, will be delivering the opening address and we will be doing this. So if you have not joined this session already, please ensure that you've scanned it and there's a registration form. You have to fill up that form, short form, maybe it'll take 30 seconds for you to do that. And then if you're interested, you can come and do this. Many people have asked us whether we will be able to do a webcast. Unfortunately, we are unable to do this because the style of this discussion that we are going to have is very interactive. So it does not lend itself to a video format. We will repeat this in case you have missed this version. Please do attend our next session. We will announce it shortly. Yesterday, I delivered a um, short lecture on the five sutras for modern and shastric living at the Chaturmasya of Shri Satyatma Tirtha Swamiji of Uttaradimat in Hyderabad. Some of you would have seen that live. Otherwise, you can go and search for Uttaradimat live. And this actually was on day 41. So if you go to day 41, you'll find a short lecture by me there. If possible, we will snip only that lecture and broadcast in our channel as well at a later date. Later this week, next week, sorry, we'll be having a special session on lessons and life from the life and works of Sri Vadaraja Tirtha and the Chaturmasya of Sri Sode Vadaraja Mutt at Soda itself. This will not be broadcast. I'm sorry, this will be broadcast live. So do keep an eye open for this as well. So it promises to be an interesting session because Vadaraja Tirtha's style of writing is very unique, very emotional, very poetic at the same time, very deep in spiritual meaning that is there. So these sessions are expected. These are the different thoughtcasts that we have been doing and broadcasting. So make time to listen to them if that is of interest. So by popular demand, what we are saying is that we want to next the topic that we want to take up is Vidura Niti. So we had put a bit of a poll last time. We will definitely cover other topics also, but we will cover another snippet of Vidura Niti. That is another part of Mahabharata, which is again in the form of a discussion or a set of questions that Dhritarashtra puts to none other than Vidura. So clearly, we seem to like Lord Yama very much because we picked up Nachiketa, then we did Yaksha Prashna, and now it is Vidur Niti. All three are incarnations of Lord Yama. But that is where you get the. If you want lessons in dharma, you have to go to Dharma Raja, which is very obvious. So Vidur Niti again, one of my favorite parts, and not only mine, of many people who are studying spirituality is that this conversation that happens between Yudhishthira, Dhritarashtra on one side, who's in a very dejected mood, and then asks Vidura, "Why am I in this position, in such a hopeless position? Can you help me come out of this?" At that time, of course, Vidura gives a series of advices on what to do. Now, what I found is that the answers are not useful only to from a shastric perspective, but also our personal and professional life as well. So, for example, there's a question on what are the kind of people we should not consult in our life. That's applicable to professional life, that's also applicable to our personal and spiritual life. So very interesting answers again given by the great learned person that Vidura is. So this is what has come as a crux. So Guru Prasad sir, you are right. What about Vidura? He's also Yama's incarnation. Your answer is absolutely right. So at the time of Mahabharata, Yamadharmaraya is born as Yudhishthira. He is also born as Vidura. He is also born as Jambavanta. So there are three incarnations running parallel in Mahabharata that you see him. So he is there, but again his levels, yeah, of knowledge are very different in all these things. We don't say Jambavanta Niti, we don't say Yudhishthir Niti, but whatever Vidura says is called Vidur Niti, because other than Lord Narayana, Lakshmi, and Saraswati Bharati, and Brahma and Vayu, this set of people, all the others, there is a difference in their levels of gnana and power from the Mula Rupa and the incarnations. When they come down for the incarnation, they take a step down. Like Arjuna and Indra, they are different. So well, they are the incarnations, but their levels of energy, the levels of knowledge are different. So that is what happens in this case. There is Yaksha and there is Yudhishthira. There is Vidura and then there is Jambavanta. So Vidur Niti is again a profound set of questions given in very beautiful way by Vidura himself. And at the end of it, after hearing all this, I think Dhritarashtra then develops perspective, saying, okay, where did I go wrong? Why am I facing this sorrow? Why am I facing this anxiety in my life? And he's able to overcome that. So I'm sure if you attend these sessions, we will definitely be getting some direction into how we can look at it. So this session that we're talking about will start on the 13th of September. So there will be no session on the 6th of September. I'll be traveling to Sonda Kshetra on 5th and 6th, and I'll be en route back to Bangalore on the day of 6th of September. So I sincerely regret that we will not be able to have the session on that day, but we will resume from the week after that, where we will look at Vidur Niti as the answer, as the next topic. Okay, wouldn't it be wrong to be let off Bhima, who is Nana Purna? Um, I quite didn't get this, madam. If you can please clarify this. Wouldn't it be wrong to let off Bhima, who is Gnanapurna? Okay. I would be more interested in Vidur Niti. Thanks for taking this topic. Thank you, Mr. Pranesh. A lot of people wrote to us saying that they wanted to know this. They wanted the topic to be covered. We also had it in our mind, I should admit. At the same time, we got a lot of mails coming from people saying that they wanted to know more about it. So we'll wait for Mr. Rashmi Raj to actually clarify what he meant. But if I take that from the assumption that he's asking why, how can Bhima, who's considered to be Gnanapurna, also make the same mistake and drink the water? So in Mahabharata, you will find many places where Bhima and Draupadi, though they are incarnations of Vayu and Bharati, they will pretend that they have made a mistake because they want a certain flow of events to happen in a certain way. Draupadi Devi, just think about this, could have easily stopped the Vastraparana, but she didn't do that because she is goddess Bharati. Bharati is the presiding god or goddess for Vastra. So she is the one who gives everybody clothes. So the Vastraparana cannot happen to Draupadi. But still she lets that happen because she wants to show, look at what this these people are, how low the Kauravas can stoop. Otherwise, people would have said, see, you I think overreacted and had a war with them, and you killed all of them. Now nobody will say that because they have seen what they could do to Draupadi Devi. If they could do that to her, who is the lady of the house, from the Kauravas and Pandavas perspective, they could have done it to anybody else. So that is why it is not something that they have done. So Bhima also in this case could have fought this war. So could have Arjuna, but both of them decide that this seems to be a game that is being played. So let us just play along and pretend that we have been knocked down. Okay. Uh, Yeah, correct. So I think I've got Mr. Rashmiraj's questions correctly. How to stay Dhrida Sankalpa even in meek moments, especially when we are trying to overcome addictions? Yes, I think it's a common question, Sujal, madam. See, the thing what happens, I think, whenever these addictions are there, we have to find out. And I read it recently from an article saying addiction has its own patterns. So all addictions have the same pattern. So only when they show that pattern does it mean it is addiction. Because addiction is something that you believe that you can't live without. It's not a mere interest. It's not something which is saying at a light level. It's gone very deep. It becomes so difficult for people to even live without it. That is, that is what is the technical understanding of what it is. So how do you stay Dhrida Sankalpa? I think one thing one should, try and practice all the things that we spoke in our first sessions in terms of how do we sort of meditate, how do we understand and calm our mind, because a lot of addiction comes to us because we are very anxious. So when we are anxious, addiction comes. People believe if I drink tea, then my addiction will, my anxiety will go. Nothing will happen. You'll drink tea for 10 minutes, you'll feel good. Your mind may relax for some 10 minutes, but after 10 minutes, that issue which was causing that anxiety will come back. So if you have not addressed that issue, it's going to keep coming back again and again. And addiction is something that people have found is easy to do. So it's a temporary relief. It's not solving any problem. So therefore, one has to keep doing those things. But I would say, and I've seen that with people, the person who controls our mind, all this is a game that our mind is playing with us. Oh, I can't live without drinking coffee. I can't live without, somebody may say, I can't live without drinking alcohol, or I can't live without drinking, smoking. All this is absolutely, in our mind. So to overcome the mind, it's a manasso. Manasso, who is the ruler, is Manoniyamakaru, it is Lord Shiva. So praying to Lord Shiva definitely helps us in the de-addiction programs. In fact, I was speaking to somebody who handles de-addiction programs in prisons, and he was saying that what they do is to actually get all the people to chant Lord Shiva's name over and over again. So this is the methodology that our shastras have also prescribed, that is to chant the Shiva name over Om Namah Shivaya over and over again, to overcome and gain and pray to Lord Shiva to give us back our control of our mind. And this is how they are able to de-addict. I hope I have answered Sujal ma'am's question. Yes, even me is also interested with it. Thank you, sir. I think this is something which is popular. I am asking why Dharmaraja selected Nakula. Yeah, I think the answer I have given you is that he selected Nakula because he wanted the son of his stepmother also to be alive. So he wanted one child of Kunti and the other child of Nakula alive. He wanted the first children, the eldest child. That's why he didn't select Sahadeva. He wanted it to be like to like. Eldest son of Yudhishthira of Kunti, Yudhishthira is alive. So the eldest son of Kunti, Madri also should be alive. That is how he wanted it to be absolutely balanced. And that is the quality of great people. They do not want to give any scope for anybody to point fingers at them. That's why they say that after Lord Rama ran the Rama Rajya for so many years, the next kingdom, the next Rajya, which had that dharma at its center, was that of Yudhishthira. When the Pandavas ruled, it was the same quality of righteousness or dharma which existed during Lord Rama's time. Why? Because they were guided by Lord Krishna, who is none other than Lord Rama himself. So that's how they were able to do this. So, so thank you for your time. It was wonderful session. I personally enjoyed the topic of Yaksha Prashna, but I'm equally excited about the next topic, which is Viduraniti, and we'll come out with more gems which can help us elevate ourselves spiritually. So till such time, I would my humble pranams to all of you. We are having the Ananta Chaturdashi Vrata, which is coming next week. I would request all of you to pray to Ananta Padmanabha. Just say Ananta Ananta Devesha, Ananta Phaladayaka, Ananta Dukkhanashaya, Anantaya Namo Namaha. This one line, Ananta Ananta Devesha, Ananta Phaladayaka, Ananta Dukkhanashaya, Anantaya Namo Namaha. This just reciting this even few times on that day is going to give us phala. What is that phala? Infinite, Ananta, because that is God's way. We give him something very, very, very minuscule, but he accepts it with love and says, okay, I'm going to make it infinity. Ananta Padimadi, as the Harikatamrita Sara says. So if we want all our investments to multiply by infinite times, we have to play it to Lord Narayana. Only he can give it. So let us be on this path, and I look forward to seeing you not on the 6th but on the 13th of September. Till then, namaste. And those who have registered, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the session. Namaskar.